So let's check this problem from Hackerrank. Long story short, basically we have some strings that are called palindromes, and you know about them. You have got a string like this, so A, B, C, B, A. That's a palindrome because if you reverse it, it remains the same. So that's basically a palindrome. So the question is, what the problem is asking is, if we have a string that's almost a palindrome, like let's say ABCN, BA, and in this case, if we remove C, that would be a palindrome. If we remove N, it could also be a palindrome. So what we need to do here is to, if we have a string like this where we only have one character to remove, we need to find the index of this character. So basically we can return 2. If we remove C, it will be a palindrome, or if we remove N, it will be a palindrome as well. So we just need to choose one index to remove, and that's all the problem is asking. So let's imagine what we could do. We have a string like that, so we have A, B, C, D, E, and then E, D, M, C, B, A. Alright, so first we can tell if it's a palindrome or not by going from this direction and this direction and comparing everything together. So we'll start with one index here and one index here, and we see that they are equal, it's A and A, and then we move. So now we have got one index here and one index here, and they are matching. And then we get one index here and one index here, and they are matching. And then we get to this point and we see, oh, they are not matching. Now we have to decide, shall we remove D or shall we remove M? But we don't really know, like should we try to remove D and see if it's a palindrome or not, and then try later to remove M and see if it's palindrome or not? That could be something, that could be one solution. So let's try that. Alright, so here I'm going to have index 0 equal 0, and then index 1 equal to s dot length minus 1. So basically it's one at the very beginning, one at the end, and we are going to keep going until these two indices collapse. So basically if they meet in the middle, then we are done. In case of an odd string, like if it has an odd number of characters, we will have one character unvisited, and that's okay because it will still be palindrome if this side is equal to this side. And if it's an even number of characters, then it's fine, we can just collapse here. So basically we can do something like while index 1 is still greater than index 0, and then 1 would be going back, 0 would be going forward. Okay, so now let's check, is it still a palindrome or not? So s of index 0 equal to s of index 1. If so, then we are still going normal. So index 1 would be decremented, index 0 would be incremented, and we keep just going on and on and on. Of course we need to return one variable, so I guess the answer would be, so in the problem here it's saying like if it's not a palindrome, or if it's already a palindrome, like if there's nothing to change, or if it's like hopeless and nothing to change that could fix it, then we return -1. So basically -1 is either a complete success or a complete failure, and we return the answer right here. So what if it's not, if they are not equal? What do we do? Then let's try to either remove index 1 or index 0. So let's pretend we are going to remove index 0. Okay, so trying with removing index 0, what would that look like? So if we remove index 0, like now we are at this point between deciding between D and M. So if we remove D, this means that, okay, D has been removed. This means we are looking, we are comparing E and M. Alright, so that's in case we remove D. And if we remove M, that means we're comparing D and D. So that's basically how we are going to pretend. So D is like index 1 minus 1, and this E has been the same, like index 0 plus 1, so basically one index after or one index before. Let's do that. So let's ask if index 0 plus 1, because index 1 now does not exist, so we are going to compare index 0 plus 1, if it's equal to S of index 1. If that's the case, then I guess we have our answer here. Our answer is index 0. Index 0 should be removed, and in that case, yeah, index. Alright, so I guess we got our answer. So we can just return answer right here, or we could break and let it return the answer. And in case, yeah, let's now try to pretend to remove index 1. That would be the same, so index 1 minus 1, because that's the next one in this direction. And in such case, we're going to say that answer equals index 1, and we break. If neither of them is actually correct, if either of them fits, then I guess we can just return minus 1, and we have our answer. There is nothing we can do to fix it. Okay, let's run this code and see what happens. And we passed our test case. However, there is just a slight problem here. Like now we have, what if it's a completely non-palindrome? Like what if it's completely incorrect, but then we just happen to have a coincidence at this part. So let's say we have something like this. Like we have, it looks like a palindrome at the beginning, so A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, M, and then we have D, C, or D, D, B, A. Alright, so if you are going from this direction, now you are going to see that, okay, A and A are equal, and then B and B are equal, but then you are going to stop here. You see that C and D are not equal, so you remove one of them. Let's say you remove, if you decide to remove C, you're going to see that this D and this D are equal, and then you assume that this was the answer, but then you did not continue. You just took the answer right away and ran away with it, and you did not even check if the rest of the string is still valid or not. So let's continue, but let's remember that we still had an answer. So we need like only one character to be altered. So if we already had an answer from before, like we only check for an answer if we did not have an answer before. If you already have an answer, then we basically do nothing. So if we have an answer, we cannot have multiple answers. It's only one answer. So if we already had an answer before, we don't need a second one. We return minus 1. And here we should not break, because we still need to continue looking for the rest of the string. Index of 0 is going to be incremented here. Index of 1 is going to be decremented here, and we continue the same way. Okay, so this is only valid for the first answer. If we don't have an answer, we do this. If you already got an answer from a previous iteration, we just say, okay, you can only have one, we return minus 1. And the basic test case is passing. Let's submit and see what fails and what succeeds. So here we have got like some correct answers and 2 wrong answers. So let's check out why. So let's check the string. So we have got an H and G, here we've got HG, and then here we have got YG, YG, and then SV, SV, LF, LF, and then CW, WC. So in such case, let's do a deeper check. So here I'm just checking the next character. Let's check one more. What's the harm? So let's check the next and next as well. So this is +2, this is -1, just to be sure. So this is -2, this is +1. This is just like checking not only the next but also the next in case there are some tricks, or just to be sure. So let's submit the code once again, and we pass all the test cases. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next problem.